Hello and welcome to the MCQ lecture series. In today's class, I'll be talking about multiple choice questions with respect to Indian economic environment, which is economics general paper for first year bachelor's of arts degree. In this class, I'll be talking about multiple choice questions with respect to the second chapter, which is talking about agricultural environment in India. So let's get started. The first question is, which of the following denotes the role of agricultural price policy or agriculture price policy? And the underlying options available to us are, first is it should talk about rational pricing, then the next is it should talk about correction of imperfections in the market, then third is talking about provides indication of demand preferences of consumers in the market, and last is all of the above. So what can be the possible roles or role of agricultural price policy or agriculture price policy? It should be all of these, that is provision of rational pricing, thereafter correcting the imperfections and providing indications or responses towards demand preferences in the market, and therefore here option D is the correct option, which is all of these, that is all these three. I hope this MCQ is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next MCQ, which is talking about again agriculture price policy, and the question is framed in this fashion: agricultural price policy should be such that it ensures dash, it should be in such a fashion that it ensures certain things. And what are these things? The underlying options available to us are: A, with it will ensure optimum cropping patterns; B, it will ensure adequate remuneration to the farmers and laborers per se; then C, it is talking about reasonable prices for agricultural goods which will be used both by consumers as well as industries as raw material; and the last is all of the above. So here agricultural price policy should ensure all of these three things, that is it should ensure optimum cropping patterns available to the farmers, then adequate remuneration to the farmers or laborers per se, and then reasonable prices for goods and services both to the consumers as well as intermediate goods to the industry, and therefore option D is the correct answer in this question. Let us now move to the next question, which is again in a sense talking about price policy per se. Now here I am specifically asking about the functions of price policy, and the question is going like this: the functions of agricultural price policy or price policy in general can be categorized into what? So here we have to look at the functions of agricultural price policy to be categorized into what, and the underlying options are: A, allocative function, which is going to take into account or which is going to tell you how to use resources as per market indications; thereafter the second is talking about encouraging investments in agriculture; the third is short term functions, which will ensure that creating certainty at least in terms of prices for the agricultural produce; and the last is all of these. So all of these are functions which are categories. Yeah, so these are all functions which are categorized into different things as far as agricultural price policy is concerned, and therefore option D, which is all of the above, is correct. I'm giving you questions which are in a sense talking about all of the above as an option because it is going to cover up all these important things which otherwise are difficult to cover when you are looking at multiple choice questions per se. Yeah, let us now move to the next question. I hope this is pretty much clear. The next question is looking at blank or dash sort of a question, and it says that blank blank or dash dash made India self-sufficient in food grains, and the underlying options are: A, green revolution; B, white revolution; C, yellow revolution; and D, none of the above. So here the correct option is option A, which is green revolution made India self-sufficient at least in terms of food grains. I hope this question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about the factors responsible for all-round development of agriculture, and the question goes like this: what are the major factors? What are the major factors responsible for or major factors for all-round success of agriculture in India? And the underlying options available to us are: A, increase in net sown area, that is net sown area has gone up; then option B is talking about high yielding variety seeds or HYV seeds and improvement in irrigation techniques; the next option is talking about minimum support price and land reforms in India; and the last option is all of the above. So all of these are major factors which are responsible for all-round development or all-round success of agriculture in India. That is, the net sown area has increased, there are improvement in terms of both seed as well as irrigation, then minimum support price and land reforms. So therefore option D is the correct answer here. Let us now move to the next question, which is in a sense talking about constraint on agriculture in India, and the question is like this: which of the following denotes constraints on agriculture in India? And the underlying options are dependence on monsoon, second is outdated techniques of production, the third is failure of land reforms, and the last is all of the above. So now when you think about constraints, yes, dependence on monsoon, because majority of area in India is rain fed, and therefore people are dependent upon, or agriculture in a sense is dependent upon monsoon or rainfall, therefore this is true, this is a constraint. Second is outdated techniques of production, obviously you are using outdated techniques of production and therefore that is a constraint. Third is failure of land reforms, yes indeed, this is a Government of India policy which probably fails, and that is why it is a constraint on agriculture development in India, and therefore all of these are options which are accounting for constraints on agricultural development, and therefore D, which is all of the above, is the correct answer. Let us now move to the last question in this segment, which is a not sort of a question here. So please read the question carefully. It is a not sort of a question which goes like this: which of the following is not a constraint on agriculture? So this is not sort of a question. Please mind you pay attention to the question, and the options are like this: fall in investment in agriculture, okay; fall in growth of population, sees unbalanced agricultural growth, okay; and then exploitation of tenants. All of these are constraints, that is unbalanced agricultural growth, exploitation of tenants is a constraint, lower investment in agriculture again is a constraint, but fall in growth of population is not. Rather we see that there is an increase in, so therefore this is not. Fall in population is good for agricultural development, right? Because you don't really have to produce more to feed more people. So it is not, agricultural population falling is not going to be a constraint, because here I am asking not a constraint. So falling agricultural or falling growth rate of population is not a constraint, rather increasing. So therefore this is not. Yeah, so this is the correct option. So I hope the MCQs are pretty much clear. Please stay tuned for more. Thank you.